Let's see if any music is going to play here this morning, or am I just SOL'd in music? I just can't believe this here this morning, but yeah, let's let's try this one just for the heck of it. Will it play? Never mind. I found my problem. Take it away. Let's try this one. There we go. Look, I'm here.
The phones are open. Keep on laughing. Give us a call. You gotta keep on caring. As long as you've got a voice, don't ever stop.
All right. We're live on Facebook. You know, operator error is always what it is, folks. It is always operator error. There have been so many times over my lifetime where I've said, oh my God, this isn't working, yada, 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 just to find out who had not pushed a button, pushed a slider up, or done something like that. Well, count me in for today, folks. Yes, that's me. Forgot to slide the slider up, and now the slider's down, so I'll probably think we won't have any music at the end either. Oh, well. It's Monday, right? It's Monday. Yeah, no, but we were just talking about, if you're just joining us on Facebook Live, we're just talking about AI music and how that it is going to affect, well, how AI is affecting everything. But I was talking about music, acting, etc., your voiceovers. Oh my God, how is somebody going to know whether the person that is promoting this product is really promoting this product? And how will somebody be able to say, that wasn't my voice, right? Who was it? I saw somebody on the news was going deep into trying to prevent this from happening because your voice is an identifiable thing. And if they can copy your voice, well, what you got left, folks? You've got your mind, but you may not be able to put it out there. Anyways, that's just an interesting aside here this morning. So I wanted to talk about several different things here. I think it's very odd. Let's just say it's odd. President Trump has just reversed his stance on the Epstein files. And what is in a reversal, Trump says House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files. That was last night. See, even on Sunday, you can't take a break because there's always something going on. All right, so he said should vote to release the files in the Jeffrey Epstein case, a startling reversal after previously fighting the proposal as a growing number of those in his own party supported it. He has now said, we have nothing to hide. It's time to move on from this Democratic hoax perpetuated by the radical left lunatics. RLL, in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party, Trump wrote on social media late Sunday. Trump's statement followed a fierce fight within his party over the files. I don't care, Trump wrote. Whew. Whoa, had to sneeze, sorry. I don't care. All I do care about is that the Republicans get back on point. The president's shift is implicit acknowledgement that supporters of the measure have enough votes to pass it in the House, although it has an unclear future in the Senate. It is a rare example of Trump backtracking because of opposition within the Republican Party. In his return to office and in his second term as president, Trump has largely consolidated power in the party. So, Representative Ro McConnell, a Democrat from California, said he was hoping for 40 or more Republicans to join the effort. I don't know how involved Trump was, Connell said. There was a lot of other people involved who have to be held accountable. Trump also asked Trump to meet with those who were abused. Some will be at the Capitol on Tuesday for a news conference, he said. So this is an interesting turnabout in events. So what do you think about it? What do you think? 864-332-9355. 864-332-9355. This is, we're going to have to watch this one closely. See how long, number one, it takes them to release the files. And who now? The president's not holding it back. Who would be? And, then there is the question of, are they really going to be releasing all the files? So, I think this has been a distraction. It's been a distraction partly because of the president, because he keeps saying there's nothing there. I think there are those of us who still don't believe that that there is not some mention in there, and I don't think I would be surprised if there was. But if this has truly been the way it is, why has it taken so long to get this far? Trump's statement has followed a fierce fight with the GOP over the files, including an increasingly nasty split with Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has long been one of his fiercest supporters. That is very, very true. The president's shift is an implicit acknowledgement that supporters of the measure have enough votes to pass it in the House, although it has an unclear in the Senate. So, what do you think about this? Lawmakers who support the bill have been predicting a big win in the House this week, with a deluge of Republicans voting for it, bucking the GOP leadership and the president. In his opposition to the proposal, Trump even reached out to two of the Republican lawmakers who signed it. One, Representative Lauren Boebert, met last week with administration officials in the White House Situation Room to discuss it. The bill would force the Justice Department to release all files and communications related to Epstein, as well as any information about the investigation into his death in federal prison. Information about Epstein's victims or ongoing federal investigation would be allowed to be redacted. The thing about this is, if they had information, do you not think that the Biden administration would have been right there putting it out there, because their whole desire was to totally destroy Trump? So they said the Republicans said that they hoping to get a veto-proof majority on this legislation when it comes up for a vote. Speaker Mike Johnson had panned the discharge petition effort and sent members home early for their August recess when the GOP's legislative agenda was upended by the clamoring for an Epstein vote. And, one of the things that's happened on that, because of the Republicans' actions, they've appeared guilty, haven't they? Yes, they have. And so if there's not something about Trump, you do have to wonder who is in there that is somebody that they were, quote, trying to protect. I have no idea. This is just where we're at, but it'll just be what it'll be if they get it out there. Johnson seems to expect the House will decisively back the Epstein bill. We'll just get this done and move on. There's nothing to hide, adding that the White House Oversight and Government Reform Committee has been releasing far more information than the discharge position, their little gambit. So the vote comes at a time when new documents are raising fresh questions about Epstein and his associates, including a 2019 email that Epstein wrote to a journalist that said Trump knew about the girls. The White House has accused Democrats of selectively leaking the emails to smear the Republican president. Well, that is so unique, isn't it? That is so unique. Johnson said Trump has nothing to hide from this. They're doing this to go after President Trump on this theory that he has something to do with it. He does not. Well, how do you know that, Johnson? Have you seen the file? That's what they all want to know out there. So we will see where that goes. But that is probably the most interesting thing. Other than I find this most interesting is that finally the flights are all supposed to be back on track. So that means that going into Thanksgiving, we should be good on flights. All right, that's what that should mean. So that is good news. I know a lot of people had questions whether they were going to be able to fly, whether they were even going to try it. So many people that I know have flown in, flown out, and worried every time they tried to get on a plane whether their flight was going to go. I heard that somebody's flight, last week was actually early, leaving from, I think it was out of Baltimore to come down to Greenville, and so that was unusual. But the major major airports have had problems, and so if you were flying, I guess outside the major ones, you didn't have too big a problem. But supposedly all flights are on track. So, Trump's feud with Green escalated over the weekend, with Trump sending out one of the last social media posts about her while sitting in his helicopter on the White House lawn when he arrived home late Sunday night, writing, "The fact is, nobody cares about this traitor to our country." Even if the bill passes the House, there is no guarantee that Senate Republicans will go along. But this thing with him and Marjorie Taylor Greene, what is he calling her now? Marjorie Traitor Greene, is totally an amazing turnabout of things. I think part of this started about the talk about the health care, which the House and Senate have to address with this new time frame that they have on the budget. What are they going to do about that? I think, I don't know. I think that this is an ongoing saga. I think the Republicans are going to have to come a little closer to the table in order for this to get done. I don't think the Democrats can pull the line the way they would like to, but there has to be something done. Now, the president on health care is pushing this idea that people would have accounts to be able to choose their own insurance agent or program that they would like. That has a lot of merit. From the idea of driving the pricing based on policy. But I will remind people of this point. Have we seen our car insurance and our housing insurance gone down because we're in the driver's seat with charging? After all, isn't it here in South Carolina where they've had several bills, finally got one through? I don't really believe that insurance for our venues and everything have come down. I think that is still an issue. Our car insurance is still going up, and house insurance I'm not really sure about. But insurance has gotten expensive all the way across the line. So part of me says, is this really going to affect health care, right? Is this really going to affect health care if they give the money to the people that can be used only for health care? And then, of course, if there's a will, there's a way. We've seen this how many times of people trying to scam people and all this type of thing. So if they do something like give health savings accounts, will it make a difference? That is my question. Will it make a difference? I don't know. That's what kind of bothers me, is the fact we've seen it too many times, where they have not had the desired effect that they thought. And my other question is, how can they do something quick enough before the new rates take effect January 1st? I mean, all the subsidies run out the December 31st. So how can they do something quick enough? We know that the House and the Senate do not move quickly. So I have real questions as to how this debacle is going to be solved. And are the Republicans going to have to say, well, I guess we'll have to keep the subsidies in there for another year? Now, everybody is saying no. But I'm kind of thinking they won't have enough time. They seem to think they have enough time to get their bills through, their financial bills, budget bills through before January. But if that's the case, then why didn't they do it before September 30th? Just an inquiring mind. All right, that takes care of that topic. I'm not going to spend any more. If you've got a question or a comment, 864-332-9355. 864-332-9355. Well, we got somebody calling. Why don't you call on 864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. This is an interesting article that just came across my desk. It's from the Daily Mail. One of Britain's favorite cars of the last 3 decades has officially been killed off, with the last version rolling off the German assembly line on Friday. Having amassed over 12 million global sales since hitting showrooms in 1998 as the direct replacement for the Ford Escort, the Ford Focus is the second most common car on our roads today. Now, this is coming from Great Britain, from England. But numbers are now set to dwindle as manufacturing of the evergreen hatchback has stopped. How about that? Factory employees at the company's car plant at the weekend circulated the news on social media that the last Focus had been built. How about that? This is in Germany, where the last Ford Focus rolled off the lines. It brings to an end a 27-year production run of one of the great modern era family cars. Yes, folks, the Ford Focus is now being ditched for what? The decision to axe the Focus comes just after 2 years after Ford bosses called the Fiesta, which remains Britain's most owned model with over 1.5 million registered to owners currently. The move to axe both models is part of Ford's accelerated switch to electric vehicles, but this has dramatically impacted the brand's popularity in Europe and UK. It says the void left by the Focus will be immediately filled by the Explorer and Capri electric SUVs, both of which based on the Volkswagen Group's architecture, but have so far proved relatively unpopular among Britons with disappointing sales. And a new mid-size Ford crossover coming in 2027 is expected to be direct replacement. How about that? So they have something that's popular, right? And they do away with it. Sometimes things just don't make sense to me. That is true. But anyways. All right. I just saw that coming across and I thought, oh no, another vehicle bites the dust. Here we're purporting how many places we have building vehicles in South Carolina. I don't think we have a Ford manufacturing plant. Scout, there was an interesting article that I don't have time to talk about, but, Scout is down there right outside of Columbia, but they opted to put their offices outside of Charlotte, right in Charlotte, North Carolina. A lot of people in South Carolina were upset. If we have the big manufacturing plant, why don't we have the office? And it was most interesting. Actually, I think, let's see, did I see that? Yes, okay. I think that it is an interesting point as to why we have the manufacturing, and they're touting how many jobs and how many more jobs it's going to bring to South Carolina. But the corporate offices will be in North Carolina. I guess that's just spreading the love around, right? That must be what it is. All right, let's talk about this story here. You know, I always find pennies, right? I always find pennies. And I love the song Pennies from Heaven, right? I love that song. But the last penny minted was on Friday. Or Thursday, was it Thursday? Yeah, what day was it? It says the 12th. Okay, the last one was minted on the 12th. At the United States Mint in Philadelphia produced the final pennies in a business strike run for general circulation. The penny has been in production since the 1790s. First 1-cent pieces in 1793, but was retired due to production costs that exceeded its value. 1-cent coins were costing nearly 3.7 cents to make. The decision was driven by economic factors, the cost to produce each penny, declining use in cash transactions, and the modern digital payment economy. Officials estimate that ending production will save the U.S. Treasury roughly $56 million annually. Although new pennies will no longer be made for general circulation, existing pennies will remain legal tender indefinitely. The penny hasn't been abolished as a denomination. That would actually require an act of Congress. The last few pennies struck featured a small omega symbol marked and are expected to be auctioned for collector value, possibly reaching into the millions. You know, if I was a rich woman, I would want to get one of those pennies. But I'm not, so I won't. I'll still be looking for pennies from heaven. It says it marks the end of America's longest-running coin series, still in circulation, and signals a shift on how we handle cash and coins. Even though you're still going to be able to use them for legal tender, that's a good thing. And it says, for collectors and historians, this is a milestone. Those final pennies become artifacts of monetary history. And all of my pennies are very special to me. So here's the thing. I think, where was I? I was in Ollie's the other day. And the person at the desk told me, she goes, I don't know. I don't remember what my total was, 3601 or something like that. And I pulled out to use a card. She goes, whew, good thing you're using a card. I said, why? And she goes, well, we're not going to have any pennies. I was like, excuse me? She goes, where they get their funds for their till and everything, they're not going to be delivering any more pennies. I think this was from Brinks. So, look for, if you're going to pay with cash, that you may have to round up, because actually I think the stores should round down, right? I don't know if that'll happen or not, but it's going to be increasingly difficult for businesses to have pennies. I find this unbelievable, but since they're not minting pennies, there will not be pennies in the system, even though there's billions probably of pennies around. They will not be being able to get them. Brinks delivers their change and, their money and this type of thing, so they have the right combinations when they order it, so they won't be able to get pennies. So that brings another question. I haven't had an opportunity to check it out, but if I go to the bank, can I get a roll of pennies? just out of curiosity. And now another thing worries me. There's a lot that worries me. When I get pennies from heaven from Jeff, is this going to be a shortage on pennies? Or are more pennies going to be raining down because they're going to say, we can't let the penny die, Ann. We won't let the penny die. I will tell you, this is hysterical, I think. So I walk out of the store, out of Ollie's, and I'm thinking, God, what am I going to do about pennies from heaven, pennies from Jeff? And I look down on the street, and there is a dime. So who knows? Maybe economically my pennies from heaven will become dimes. Maybe this will be economically a good thing. But I still love finding my pennies out there because I always know, particularly when I am I'll say a little down or a little thinking about something the way it was or how I like this and this type of thing, and I just be kind of going, I always seem to find a penny. So now, and which is why I named Princess Penny. Penny is because of pennies. I've got pennies. Pennies from heaven. And Penny is looking at me like, what you talking about, woman? Anyways, it is something to think about. And to think that you and I lived our lives with pennies and now they have been discontinued. So I just thought I would make my case on the penny. I really feel that it's a sad thing that pennies are disappearing. But the very fact, because I thought, well, okay, they're not minting them, but there's plenty of pennies around. I didn't realize that stores actually, like chains, big stores, not little stores, but big stores actually get their change from Brinks, or maybe when they bring payroll, they bring money. I don't know. But anyways, Brinks is not going to be bringing them pennies. So look for, and what does this do to all the slots for your change, right? Can you see somebody now? It's hard enough for some of these young people to do change when they've got an empty slot and they go, what is this slot for? Oh, we used to have pennies. Anyways, that is my big story for today, the story of the penny. I am so sad that pennies will be going away. All right. Looks like nobody wants to comment about pennies. Nobody seems it as a big deal as I do. 864-332-9355. 864-332-9355. The penny saga is one that has come to an end. So the other question is, so if your pennies that cost 3.7 cents, if you have been a penny hoarder, how much will you get for your pennies? Can you actually make money on your pennies? That is the other thing that I question. I don't know. All right. That's enough about that. All right, that's enough about pennies. A penny for your thoughts will still be one of my favorite phrases. Pennies from heaven will still dominate my life, and hope that during the rest of the life that I have left, I am still able to find pennies when I go out, because it really is a positive part of my connection to life. All right. What else we got here today? I'm going to finish up. We do have some events coming up. We got a lot of events, actually. This one I want to talk about a little bit, and then I've got to, I guess, go ahead and get off the air. But the Festive Gingerbread House Competition. They are having this at the museum. This is totally cool. They've got different categories. You can, individuals will be able to generate. But anyways, junior bakers, age 6 to 8, no entry fee. Youth bakers, ages 9 to 12, no entry fee. Groups, individuals, non-professionals, local nonprofits, clubs, service organizations, $10. Professionals are going to have to pay $20. All entry fees go towards prizes and event promotions. Participants are responsible for their own materials, meaning you have to bring and make it yourself, and there is no allowance for the materials that you use, nor will they be providing any materials. Important dates: Wednesday through Friday, December 10th through the 12th, from 2 to 5, you can drop off your entry at the museum. Wednesday through Friday, December 17th through the 19th, public voting. 1 vote per person per day. I like this idea. Saturday, December 20th at 12 noon, winners will be announced. Is that pretty cool? I think that is pretty darn cool. So if you want to compete in a gingerbread house item, I think this is your opportunity to get ready, get baking, and bring it to the museum on December 10th through the 12th. Then they'll be voting the 17th through the 19th. And then Saturday on December 20th, winners will be announced. I love this idea. I don't think I probably have the time to be able to do this, but I would love to. Anyways, that's one of the things that I think is pretty cool. All right. One of the things that is happening this Thursday at 6:30, Abbeville tree lighting ceremony. That is, they have a huge tree. I don't know if you've been to Abbeville and seen it, but they have a huge tree. So that's Thursday in Abbeville. We light the tree at 6:30, and then photos after. So come on out to Abbeville for that. They also, what else is happening over there? I think this is Abbeville events, just a few that I had pulled up here. Saturday, December 6th at 12 noon. The Casey Kasem Experience, the Top 40 Countdown Christmas Show. That sounds like a pretty cool one, right? That sounds kind of cool. This event is they're going to have the Casey Kasem Experience. You know, you can go on Sirius and get it, but wouldn't it be better to go over there to Abbeville and see it? That's right. The Top 40 Countdown Christmas Show is coming to the Abbeville Opera House. 2 show times. They'll have one at 1 p.m. and one at 7:30, each filled with timeless hits and holiday cheer, featuring Casey's coast-to-coast band performing the hits live. Relive the thrill of hearing Casey Kasem's legendary voice count down the biggest hits on American Top 40. This immersive live show recreates the magic of the classic radio broadcast with a live band, vintage flair, and the top 40 hits from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, plus a sprinkle of classic Christmas chart toppers to celebrate this season. So anyways, that's at the Abbeville Opera House, 2 seatings, and they do have some VIP packages. Now, also coming up on this Sunday, is the Tutus and Tea. That's the Greenwood Performing Arts event. That will be at the Art Center this Sunday, so you're going to want to get to that. They do have individual tickets. They also have special table tickets. You can get a table for 4 or a table for 8. This is becoming a tradition in Greenwood. This is either the 3rd or 4th year. I do not remember, but it has been going on, and they bring the International Ballet down here to Greenwood from Greenville, and they do a portion of it with the young people that are performing the full performance up there in Greenville. And it is just so perfect. They have the reading of the of the Christmas, the Nutcracker Suite, the Christmas Story. They have a section of the performance performed in the back. The great thing about this is children are encouraged to be right up front, so they are very, very close to seeing the ballerinas and perform. And they have these beautiful costumes. It really is a classic tradition. So I hope you will make it out to that. That is going to be very, very awesome. All right, what else do we have here? I think I have a couple other things. When is our tree lighting? That's what I want to know. I'm telling you what, I got to see what Greenwood's coming out with for the tree. Now, I will tell you, Greenwood, I drove through last night with the Princess Penny. It was absolutely beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. It's totally decorated, so if you want to get out there and get some pictures, just go drive through. It is fabulous. So please get out there this evening, tomorrow evening, Wednesday, all through the holiday season and see the beautiful lights. Greenwood does do a fabulous job on that. Now, I think there could be some competition on this Christmas tree thing because Abbeville obviously has gone all out on their tree. So I'm anxiously awaiting for our Christmas tree to see what our Christmas tree looks at before I make my final decision. Right now, though, Abbeville, absolutely gorgeous tree. They also have some cool lights this year. So if you're out light peeping, you may want to make it over there to Abbeville and check that out. Coming up this Saturday at 10 a.m., 96 Christmas Craft Fair is going to be going on over there in 96. That's going on Saturday, December 6th is going to be the tree lighting for Greenwood. That's right. It's the most magical time of the year. Join us Saturday, December 6th for Uptown Greenwood's traditional tree lighting, a festive evening. So they're waiting. They're waiting to do theirs. Maybe because they decided they needed to do something different. I don't know, folks. I'm just throwing it out there. Enjoy the grand lighting of the Uptown Christmas tree, live holiday music, and joyful photo ops as the community gathers for this beloved tradition. Bundle up, come early, and watch Uptown shine. Well, here's what I say. You can go anytime to Uptown Greenwood. This is it's beautiful now, so I hope you'll get out there and see it. There's a lot more going on. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow in the morning, we'll have a complete show for you. Tuesday evening, we are going to have on Meet Me at the Diner, 5 to 6. Brandon Smith and a couple of the members of the Mayor's Council will be here to tell us what they've been working on, what they're all about. I think a lot of people would probably like to know about that, so we're doing that on Tuesday. Wednesday, Jonathan Bass will be joining us for a discussion of the budget, which should pass tonight in City Council. City Council starts at 5:30, I think, is the council meeting. You can watch that you can actually watch that on Facebook, on the Greenwood Facebook page. So that'll be coming up. That is going to be introduced, or I guess final vote is going to happen, and they should adopt the budget. So also coming up tomorrow evening will be County Council will be meeting as they usually do. You can watch that from YouTube. They will be broadcasting that one. That begins at 5:30. If you'd like to go to the meeting, it's right there at the library. If you want to go to the City Council meeting, of course, that's at the City Council's meeting room right there in Uptown Greenwood. Okay, now, but also coming up tonight is it tonight? Yes, because I've got a busy evening tonight. Is the District 50's school board meeting will be meeting. They will be meeting back at their regular place at the Genesis. I thought that they were totally moving their meetings to to Greenwood Performing Arts Center. When I found out, it was only because they had so many people last time. That's why they had it at Greenwood Performing Arts Center right there at the high school. But they will be back in their regular location for this meeting. That, too, is broadcast live. You need to go to District 50's website if you'd like to watch that one. So that's as far as things that are coming up. Also, tomorrow evening is the joint chamber between Lawrence and Greenwood will be meeting out there at Break on the Lake. That's going to be a good event, too. And most importantly, coming up is the WCRS Be the Heart of the Holidays with our toy drive for District 50 and the toy drive for Ware Shoals. So we are going to need your help, community. We are going to need your help to make this happen. Every year, y'all come out in a big fashion to help us, and we appreciate it so much. I do want to mention that one of the things that we would like to do this year is if you have brand new bikes that didn't go over well or whatever, or if you have very gently used bikes, we would take those, clean them up, replace anything that needs to be replaced. We would love to be able to give more bikes to our youngsters here. So, that would be a huge gift if you could do that. Now, I've already got the box outside here at WCRS 637 East Durst Avenue. If you want to drop stuff off, please go ahead and start dropping things off. It is from 4 to 11. Of course, the harder ones to shop for are those 9, 10, and 11-year-olds. We'll be coming up with a list of ideas. If you want to make a donation and let me figure out what to buy, that's okay too. But this is one of the things that I love to do more than just about anything, is do this toy drive. And we are so blessed to have so many of our local businesses come on board to help us, as well as you, the community, to help us, whether it's one toy, 10 toys, or just making. You can make more than 10 toys. I'm not topping out at there. I just was using that as a discussion point. Or whether you would like to make a donation, we can take donations. Last year we had some people give us gift cards. Those were very, very helpful, being able to spend those gift cards out there for people. So please help us out if you can. I know there's a huge cry for everything, but part of the reason I do this particular toy drive and concentrate on this particular toy drive is because the children that are in this program that we will be helping are children which have been identified probably are not going to be able to get any help from any of the other agencies out there. So these are abandoned children. They don't qualify. They don't meet the criteria. Any of a number of things, but they are children that the counselors at the school know that these kids are not going to have Christmas and that it's going to be devastating for these children. So that's where we step in. We say no child is left alone. So I would really appreciate it if you could help us with that toy drive. Boxes will be out the end of the week. As I said, I've already got the box out right here at WCRS. If you have something, drop it by. If you want to make a donation, call me 864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. And as I said, if you have gently, and I mean gently used bikes, that if we clean them up, spiff them up, we can make them look brand new. That is what we are looking for. This is going to be an ongoing project with our Lakelands Marines. They thought this was a terrific idea. They plan to become the Bike Angels of Greenwood. So you can also contact a Marine if you know one of the Marine Corps of the Lakelands. If you know them, they would love to take on some of those duties of making those bikes extra special. And of course, we're going to need helmets too. No bike will be given out without giving out a helmet. FYI, we will make sure any bikes that we give out do get a helmet. So, 'tis the season. I know there's a lot of push from a lot of different organizations to help with a lot of different things. I just hope that you will remember our children for District 50 and this year, Ware Shoals, District 51. This is through the school district, so these are approved by student counselors who know what these children are going through. Many are actually homeless in our district. Most of you don't realize that we do have quite a population of homeless children. They may sleep on a sofa. They may sleep in a car. The program that deals with this aspect, which I think is just such a terrific program. What is the name of it? I have it right here, and why did I even say this, Ann? Because that's the way you are, Ann Eller. Vento McKinney, or McKinney-Vento, there you go, McKinney-Vento program that helps make sure children get to school. I think a lot of people don't realize, and we have a bus system that never quits. They identify where these children are staying, and the school's buses will come pick them up. If they're in a hotel one night, if they're staying at a friend, relative, whatever, for a night or a few nights, the school buses actually come and pick them up and make sure they get to school. Is that terrific, or is that terrific? There's a lot more to this program, but this is where these children come from. They are children who are truly disadvantaged. They may not have the qualifications to qualify for some things, but we make sure here at WCRS and you that we have toys for these children, and hopefully we'll have some bikes this year for these children, so that they will know that people care. They will know that there is, once they get through what it is they're going through, they hopefully will remember this, and that we will have done the job, all of us, of making sure these children feel loved at Christmas time. I am Ann Eller. If you'd like to call, 864-332-9355. That's 864-332-9355. Love to help you in any way. Love for you to help us at this time of the year by either giving a donation of a toy or toys. We'll have more lists and stuff like that coming up. 4 to 11 is the age group, 4 to 11. So, that's what I'm working on this week. Could sure use some help. If you are a business and would like to have a box, we'd love to have your support on that. If you'd just like to make a donation, we would love that. And if you can't make a donation, we understand. I am Ann Eller. This is WCRS right here in Greenwood. I hope you have a fabulous day. The weather is going to be picture perfect. Let's see if I can get my handy dandy machine to tell us what the weather is going to be today. The weather is right now feels like 59. It is 59. We are looking for a high today of 68. We're supposed to be down to about 38 tonight. So that is for today. Tuesday comes in with a high of 72 and a low of 50. Mostly sunny skies. Wednesday is a high of 80 degrees, intervals of clouds and sunshine. Near record high temperatures of around 80, dropping down to 54 on Wednesday. Thursday, again, a ditto day of a high of 80, and Friday comes in with a high of 76, low of 60 degrees, and partly sunny skies. Saturday, again, another beautiful day. High of 76, low of 50. So we are in the zone for beautiful, beautiful weather. Get out there and enjoy it. Hey, I've come up with a neat idea with Penny. In order to wear her out quicker, I now have 2 Frisbees. So as she runs and gets one, I throw the other in the other direction, and then she has to go running across the field in the other direction. It's great. It only takes about half the time. Of course, I love being out there with Penny. I'm just saying, more than 1 Frisbee, and you really can be in control. I'm Ann Eller. This is WCRS Radio. I hope you have a great day. Let's see, Ann, can you cue the music here? Let's try cueing the music. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good one. Penny, you got anything to say? Yes, can we go outside and play Frisbee? Of course. Bye-bye, everybody.